Hi, Rich Rosen, founder and CEO of FastCall, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our outbound dialing application. This is the demo for the outbound portion of the application. We do have a separate information page for inbound call routing, and we also have some deep dive videos on some of these specific features, but this is just sort of a general overview of making outbound calls in FastCall. So a good place to start. I'm on a lead record. FastCall can dial outbound on any Salesforce record with a phone number. You'll see we put a little phone icon next to the phone number. We will create a task for any Salesforce object that will accept a task and has a related list for activity. You can also call from the activity itself. FastCall uses OpenCTI. The application is native, so this is the OpenCTI here. And inside FastCall, you have a couple of choices for phones. And again, we do have actually some more specific information about phones, but you pick your phones in the application. There's a base call logger that will log your call. You'll see here the application pops up. I have the ability to edit the notes. This says, hi, it's a call. Let's just say I want to say this was like call. We will pick up any of the pick list values from your org. We have some deep dive specific information on that as well. And then set call result, take notes down here, notes. So this is happening on the outbound, pretty simple, easy to use. Let's say we spoke to decision maker bank. You'll see that the call is logged without refreshing the page. We're able to do that in near real time. There's the call right there. Only a native application can do that. We are not using the Salesforce API to log your outbound calls. So that was the call logger. It's the base of the application. It's really what differentiates FastCall. Any phone, we like to say, can make an outbound call. FastCall does that really well in Salesforce, and for us that is the ability to log and score your calls, which is something that your basic office phone cannot do. You also know that many applications in this category will say that they are connected to Salesforce, and that's cool, but FastCall is not connected to Salesforce. FastCall is native in Salesforce, and we think that makes a very big difference. So again, that's the call logger there. Other choices in the outbound application, soft phone. The entire conversation is now in the browser. You hook up a good quality noise canceling headset to your USB, and you are off and running using FastCall to make outbound calls with your soft phone. Soft phone is very efficient. A wired internet connection is best, but it is an awesome way to make outbound calls in Salesforce using just your browser. This is traditional click-to-call, so you're picking an office phone here, so that's going to call your office phone first and then dial the Salesforce record. You can have many different phones here, so let's just say you can use your mobile phone in click-to-call. You can use conference room, Office 2, so you have to be hoteling and sitting somewhere else. So first you pick the phone that you're actually going to be talking to in the application, and then you pick your caller ID. Caller ID again can be the same phone that you're on. I'm going to call from the office. I'm going to show the office phone as caller ID. Caller ID might be your mobile phone. I want to call from the soft phone because it's generally a better connection than your mobile phone. But I'm going to show the mobile phone as caller ID. That also saves your battery and keeps the mobile phone available so that you're not tying up your mobile phone. You know, there are users who certainly use their mobile phone all day long. Sometimes the call quality is not great on a mobile phone, and even if you're plugged in, you're just sort of chowing down the battery on the phone, and then the phone is tied up. So using the soft phone in Salesforce just keeps that mobile phone free, but you could still show the mobile phone as caller ID, and then your return calls are coming back to the mobile phone. If you're using FastCall for inbound, which we have covered in another demo video, then we can route those inbound calls, but you don't have to. You set your caller ID here, and again, that could be your office phone, your mobile phone. Let's say you're in New York and you want to show your Chicago office caller ID, or you want to say your San Francisco office caller ID, or London or Berlin, Sydney, doesn't matter. So there you go. So you set your caller ID, you set your phone. We have some options here. You're going to see all of your recent calls here, inbound and outbound here. So if you just wanted to sort of go back here and say, oh yeah, I want to call this guy again, I can do that here. So all of my recent calls. If I'm recording calls, I have that in here too. I can just set the recording to on or off. pretty straightforward. So I can record my outbound calls. If I just want to knock out a quick call here, I can do that from the widget. We have a feature called a voicemail drop. I make an outbound call. The call connects to an answer machine or a voicemail, and I want to leave a pre-recorded message. Boom, you just click, and it drops a pre-recorded message. We have some more specific information on that feature. Speaking of features, FastCall has a couple of tabs here in the application. We have our admin settings tab here, where you're setting up your widget type activity, which again we have some specific information on. We call this call scoring and goals. So things like any task pick list you have in your org, you have the option of whether or not you want to see that in the application. So I can remove these, and if we pop back over to the application, they won't be there. Some call score information. Again, we have some specific deep dive on all of this, but that's everything that sort of relates to your call scoring and goals. The list of your users is here, and whether or not they're on an active call. If they are, you'll see the call listed here. And then your telecom settings in the application. Again, for outbound, we can do things like automatically dial an extension. Very cool. You have the option of whether or not you want to be able to dial from the widget. We use this conference dialing setting to drop the voicemail. Voicemail drop uses 3 legs of the call, so that's a conference call, 3 legs. That's enabled here. The ability to transfer a call or set up a conference call sort of enabled here. And then the option to pick which of those phones you actually want to see in the application. So I just added the mobile phone there. Options to record your calls here. And again, we have some specific deep dive information around call recording. And then some additional information here about setup. So you're adding in your caller IDs, your actual user phones. If you are using FastCall for inbound, those are set up here. And then there's some user settings tab, which sort of does the same thing for at the user level. So caller IDs, phones, that type of thing. So that is FastCall Outbound. I didn't actually mention we do support SIP. It's a great way to integrate your SIP phone. FastCall is the highest rated application in the category. That is awesome. We only work in Salesforce. We are only dedicated to Salesforce. We only think about Salesforce. Did I say Salesforce enough? I probably did. So I appreciate you watching this demo. Hopefully it didn't go too long. Again, this is Rich Rosen, founder and CEO. If you have any additional questions, shoot us an email, support@fastcall.com, and we will be there to help.